Wait, let me just throw out my gum.
Oh, I thought that was good.
I would like to be chomped.
Put it in my bag.
Like almost a nice cut.
Stick it to the mic. Did I have a little class?
We were into it.
Don't worry, I have more gum.
Okay, get ready, get set.
Hi everyone, welcome to White Noise. This is number 24, I believe. I don't know, I'm not counting. My name's Robyn, your host. I have Summer and Moral P here with me today. It's a glorious night. It's also MLK Day, so we're feeling that mood and taking everything in. I've had a really chill day. My landlord broke my bath, and then he proceeded to charge me for it. And so yeah, I'm having a really great day. I hope you guys are too. And I'm just here for a little face, you know. And then Summer is about to come up and knock your guys' socks off. She's gonna do a really amazing intro, and then she's gonna start us off with her. She's gonna start off the open mic with her wonderful writing. I'm gonna get off the stage now because I'm stumbling. So yeah, welcome to the stage, Summer.
Thank you, Robyn. That was lovely. So I have some intro remarks. Since it is Martin Luther King Day, I thought we should think about that a little bit. So I wrote a little thing exactly 1 year before his assassination on April 4th, 1967 at Riverside Baptist Church in New York. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. told his audience, "A time comes when silence is betrayal. That time has come for us in relation to Vietnam." In her op-ed, Time to Break the Silence on Palestine, written in 2019, Michelle Alexander notes that this was, quote, "a lonely moral stance, and it cost him. But it set an example of what is required of us if we are to honor our deepest values in times of crisis, even when silence would better serve our personal interests or the communities and causes we hold most dear," end quote. Today I ask you whether or not you have been silent during this global revolution. If you have been silent while the droves of slain Sudanese, Congolese, and Palestinian people cry for a voice. If you have remained silent while the world screams for revolution, weeps for her dead, and fights for her living. As a platform that holds space for the arts, it is our moral responsibility to curate an artistic praxis that chooses to look the injustices of the world square in the eye and to challenge these moments where, although silence feels safer, we allow the voices of the voiceless to well up in our bellies and scream from our own tongues. We must sit with our first world discomfort, with the questions of job security and financial stability, rather than those much larger, more frightening questions of life and death, of pain and sorrow being faced by so many others at this exact moment in time. We must look it too in the eye and say, yes, I am ready to grow, I am ready to change, I am ready to look, I am ready to speak. Our words are the words that have been knocked loose like teeth from the mouths of those obliterated by bombs, crushed full of rubble, forgotten and ignored and relegated to lands far, far away. Language is a privilege and a power. It is our job to both wield it and let it wield us. In honor of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was slain like so many millions of others by our own bloody-minded government, I ask you today, how will you use your voice? How will you wield your pen of iron? Thank you. And I'm going to read to you. Usually I read poetry, but I have a prose piece today. I've been thinking a lot about my homeland, Jordan, and my family there, many of whom were Palestinian. This doesn't have much to do with that, but I think a lot about my mother lately, and this piece I wrote is called Salted Wounds. My hands crack in the winter. Thin tissue paper with purple creases. Tear it and red gel oozes forth. They don't bleed like regular cuts, they ooze. I wrap them in Band-Aids or tape paper towels around my fingers. Mostly I ignore it. When I was little, my mom cooked us dinner every night. A meat, a starch, a vegetable. My mom cooked us dinner every night, and although I was a somewhat picky eater, a sin I have since outgrown, I would pick the food apart with a particular trepidation about getting food or grease on my hands. I was, and still am, always a bit of a freak about certain sensory experiences. Although working as a line cook for half a decade served well to desensitize me to greasy, gross, wet hands. I can butcher a whole chicken in under a minute, divided into 8 parts in a minute flat. My mother's hands used to crack and bleed so badly in the winter that she had to buy farm-grade grease to slather on them at night. Sometimes she would soak them and sleep in gloves, only to rinse them the next day and find the old tears and rips all too ready to bleed. "Today's a new day," they would say with their oozing smiles etched in olive flesh. "How can you be sure you're alive if you aren't bleeding?" My mom cooked us dinner every night, and she always had a wound she was nonchalantly nursing. Burns from the oven, chunks missing from tips of fingers, wrapped haphazardly in a blood-soaked paper towel held in place with a pointer and a thumb. Like Kronos eating his cosmic brood, my mom fed us bits and pieces of herself willingly, marinated cutting boards in her blood and flavoring roast pans with charred flesh. I sometimes wonder how much of her we ate over the years. There were foods only my jiddo made, and my mom and I had to learn how to do it ourselves when he got sick and died. We brined grape leaves in our tears and flavored rolled cabbage for malfouf with our salt from our blood. The sauce is conveniently a deep red already. You see, we had both learned to leak from the cracks in our hands by then. What was the name of Lot's wife? What were the names of the people she left behind when they fled that burning city? If she had been my mother, I would have broken off her hand and taken it with me. On the banks of the Dead Sea, there are salt deposits thinner than paper that sparkle and crack in the sun. They bake onto the rocks until everything turns white, like fresh snowfall in the desert. The second to last time I was home, the last time I was truly home, the last time my jiddo was alive there to meet me, I smuggled back a bottle of water from the River Jordan, truncated and controlled by the occupational forces living on the other side of the river. You should see the wealth disparity between the occupied and the indigenous banks. So much money they don't need, even the water. It's just a tourist trap. I also brought a bottle from the Dead Sea. The water from Christ's baptismal site has long since turned purple and green with the slime of life it holds within the womb of the little mason jar. The jar of Dead Sea water is still perfectly clear, sterile, with little crystals of salt nestled on the bottom. Shake it and they jingle, glimmer in the sunshine like a snow globe. If Lot's wife had been my mother, I would have taken her hand and sprinkled it onto all the food I ate for the rest of my life. It has always been my mother's salt that cured my ails, not the tainted didacticisms of my father. I suppose in the process of turning to face my mother one last time, to look into my mother's face and hold her hand one last time, I would have been made salt too. Now we cook our meals together, cracked hands bleeding, flavoring the meat, dripping eyes, salting our wounds. The real lesson of Sodom and Gomorrah is that anyone who lives long enough turns to salt. That's the lesson ignored. Love, with tears and blood, will always salt the earth. Thank you. Our next reader that I'd like to welcome to the stage is Jolly Joe Jester.
Hello, Greenkill Gallery. How is everybody tonight? Yeah, how are we doing in our New Year's resolution so far? A couple weeks in. Does anybody still have some that are still hopeful, or have you given up yet? Oh, you didn't make 0, so you're just living 23 again. All right, that's totally fine. You don't need to make any changes, but you can. Does anybody want to give maybe one that they would maybe like to see in 24? And I'll do a quick silent scene of that resolution. So who's got some that they want to have more of in this year? Yeah.
I want to stay positive amidst all the crap.
Oh, God. Oh, and I'm going to make a good soup today. It's going to be good. I'm going to make that soup. Okay, yeah. The soup is going to be so good that I can forget about what's going on out there for just a moment, and it'll be super. So super. Super soup. Any other resolutions out there? What do you want more in 24?
I want to swim in every state.
Okay. Listen, don't back out with me at Alaska. Please. We'll go in July. I need you to trust me on this. If we can swim in every state, we'll finally be free from America. We can leave. We can get out of here. We can finally go to Canada. We just need to swim in that Alaskan water. Are you ready to be a polar bear? Because I am. All right, we can do it, guys. We can swim in every state, and we can be positive in the force of darkness, and that's what Jolly Joe Jester is all about. They call me Jolly Joe because I'm just so freaking positive. I'm so happy. You can give me the worst big pile of dog poop, and I will smile and turn it into a garden. That's what I'm here for, folks. And speaking of dogs, you know, I've really connected with them this weekend. There was one little miniature dog that, God, just hated me when I walked in. And its name was Selena, and it was a little, big, huge eyes, and sweet to everyone else. But when Jolly Joe walked in, it was like Mike Myers. Very afraid of me, and I get it. I'm a scary thing. I'm a big, hairy guy. I know what it's like to, be in this world. Guys are not great. We do a lot of messed up things as a whole that, I understand why the little doggy hates me. But I tried. I was like, I'm going to make this dog somehow, I'm going to pet it. Before this weekend's over, I'm going to do some petting. And, of course, everybody's giving me excuses on why the dog is never going to like me. Oh, I think the past owner must have been a big Jerry Garcia-looking guy, and he probably sat on it a few times, and he probably kicked it. Listen, don't make it like that. It's probably me. I'm the problem. I'll just change my energy and get a little treat. Maybe in a past life, the dog, was afraid Frank, and it was so scared in his home, and had all these guns and was so scared of everything, and now he's stuck in this little Chihuahua body. Maybe that's his karmic destination. So I wanted to just say, I'm here for you. So I grabbed the little salmon puff, and I try to get closer to it. Here, little guy. Okay, not yet. I'm just trying, but it's okay. And slowly but surely throughout the weekend, I made my way to the piano. When I started playing those keys, those big eyes and I locked. I was talking to that Chihuahua's soul. And I will tell you guys, after that, and when the owner of the dog went asleep, I was able to slowly crawl with treats. This is the only dog who turns away treats. Like, most of the time, they'll drop that act right away. You're a pet. Let me pet you. Please, it's your job. It's in the name. It finally came close enough for me to touch its little head, and belly, and it was so sweet. It finally gave me that little bit of, we're connected, we bonded. I got photographic proof. I can show you after. And the next morning, get the hell away from me. It was like it never happened. So, the dog is not the problem. What I think is dogs really are like their name is spelled backwards. They're gods. They can be gods or devils, really, but dogs, they're a great indication of where we are at. And what I tried to do is win over this little dog god. And slowly but surely, I was granted. After praying to it, stroking its belly, we got this bond. And I think that dog is rooting for me now tonight. Really, it's why I'm here. It's why I'm happy to be now a dog walker. So if anybody is looking for someone, me and Serena, we can do this for your dog. Okay? Maybe they're scared of big hairy guys. We'll expose them to it. Okay? Let's make it happen. And walking these dogs in Rosendale, I've been loving it. I've been trying to exercise more. It's one of my resolutions. But the other day I was on the river dike there, walking with the dogs, and this guy comes on up out of his house. Hey, this isn't a public dike. Get off of my land. And I was very shocked. It's not very un-Rosendale. And just so sorry. I'm so sorry. So that's become our new little poop spot with the dogs. I just go sneak them in and get them right there. But seriously, what is this kind of mentality? Are we not friends with our neighbors anymore? Are we saying, this is my land and you can't be here? Yes. As a whole, that's what we're doing. That's what our first poet was talking about. It's happening all over the world. And it's time we say, neighbor, come sit on my porch. Put a sign like that out on your door. Because truthfully, we're all just little scared puppies who just want to make sure you're not a crazy person before we warm up to you. And that's how I feel like this audience is tonight. Do you guys like this? Are you the little puppy? Okay. I don't hear any growls, so I'm going to just keep this comedy thing going. I hope to do comedy 27 times in 2024. 1 out of 27 is done tonight. Thank you. And I am turning 27 in January, and I'd like to invite you all to an open mic in New Paltz on January 25th at the New Paltz Community Center at 7 p.m. So check it out, and check out my Happenstancery improv group. And I thank you all so much. Jolly Joe Jester, Joseph Anthony Davis, please come sit on my porch sometime. Let's grab some coffee, and maybe I'll let you pet my belly if you're nice to me. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your night. Dog bless.
Thanks so much, Jolly Joe Jester. You are always welcome here to fulfill your New Year's revolution. Anytime. We have lots of open mics that we'd love to have you at. Please welcome our next poet and co-host, Moral P.
Hi guys, I'm Moral P, or Melissa H. I decided to wear the hat. I think everyone feels really good about the hat, so I'm going to keep the hat on. I also did not shower before I came here. I woke up from a nap. Oh, also, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who shared so far. I'm from Rosendale, and I've gotten yelled at on the berm for having my dog poop there. And I, too, let my dog poop there several times a day in a silent kind of resistance towards, like, I don't know, let's make up the name of a guy, Mike Ruger, we'll just, whatever. But, sorry. But I have a couple things I'm going to read tonight. That felt so good. My heart's like racing. All right. So I wasn't going to read any of my work, but I am going to read one of my poems because I'm really proud of it. This is like my recent magnum opus. I'm sorry to my friends who've heard this 100 times, but this poem is titled, Harold and Kumar Storm the Capitol. Thank you. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm pregnant and I'm really out of breath. Jesus Christ. All right. There's a million men here, but no one's really in the mood to march. I Google if I'm allowed to say that kind of stuff, and now I'm down the rabbit hole. 7 clicks later, and I'm glued to a subreddit that's going to connect me with more people than any one person should ever know. User Hotbox Rodeo 444 is going off about the big toothpaste, and I am a bystander, throwing tomatoes from the mezzanine. It's all a conspiracy, but not like that Paramore song. The more art I make, the more I realize how behind the times I am. A million arts, and I can barely even do the register count at closing. A million little cuts, or a million drops of water in the middle of your forehead, but you can't drink any of it. I'm in 4th grade, and every time I hear about an old school torture method, someone puts the word Chinese in front of it. I fucked some guy who has an anti-communism shirt, and now I'm pregnant with his baby. And I can't stop buying books that I don't have time to read. Funny how that happens. Wasted are the days of my youth, thinking I could be an agent of change as opposed to what I really am, a hypocrite. Instead, I am in the fitting room at Macy's, layering bra over bra over bra. I'm raveled in wires and bound by elastic straps like a ball of rubber bands. I Google world's largest rubber band ball and can't get a straight answer. 1 million rubber band balls in 1 million towns all over the US, 3 in Europe. Anyone worth knowing has a picture of them shaking hands with a war criminal. I call the troops and we cancel Jimmy Carter. I call the troops and we cancel a Popeyes in Southwest Florida. I'm on my hands and knees begging you to call me a hero, but I keep forgetting to water my garden. The rabbits got my cauliflower. This season is a bust. I'm on Google Docs trying to make sense of this spreadsheet, but I can't seem to get a straight answer. 1 million tabs open, 1 million opportunities to accept cookies. There is an ad humming from one of them, but no matter how many of them I close out, I can still hear it. Yesterday, I walked through the forest in my backyard. It's always there, but we're barely acquainted. Some idiot in Keens in a Patagonia jacket has his dog off leash, and he's lucky that I don't own a gun. Thank you. All right, and for posterity's sake, I'm going to read what I initially pulled up on my telephone. I decided I'm not printing out things because someone was like, you should print out things. And I was like, it's all here. All right. So I've been rereading recently over and over again a book by Victor Hugo called Notre Dame de Paris, which would later become The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And just with everything going on in the world today, and it being Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I was like sitting in like my ego earlier, like thinking like, how can I sound really good right now? But I pulled 2 quotes from this book that I want to share with you guys. The first one is Quasimodo talking to Esmeralda. He says, "You asked me why I saved you. You have forgotten a villain who tried to carry you off one night, a villain to whom the very next day you brought relief upon your infamous pillory. A drop of water and a little pity are more than my whole life could ever repay. You have forgotten that villain, but I remember." And then in the next few pages, he goes on to say, or the author goes on to say, "He was fine. He, that orphan, foundling, that outcast, he felt himself august and strong. He looked full in the face of that society to which he was banished, and into which he had so powerfully intervened. That human justice from which he had snatched its prey, all those tigers whose jaws perforce remained empty, those myrmidons, those judges, those executioners, all that royal power which he, poor and insignificant being, had foiled with the power of God." And then I have one more poem that's not mine. This is by Gil Haran. God, I can never pronounce his name. It's Gil Haran. There's a suffix there somewhere, but the poem is called Whitey on the Moon. Ignore me, I'm not Googling it. Hold on. Gil Scott Haran, thank you. "A rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. His face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bill, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. The man just upped my rent last night, 'cause Whitey's on the moon. No hot water, no toilets, no lights, but Whitey's on the moon. I wonder why he's upping me, 'cause Whitey's on the moon. I was already paying him $50 a week with Whitey on the moon. Taxes taking my whole damn check, junkies making me a nervous wreck, the price of food is going up, and if all that shit wasn't enough, a rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, but Whitey's on the moon. And all that money I made last year was for Whitey on the moon? How come there ain't no money here? 'Cause Whitey's on the moon. You know, I just about had my fill of Whitey on the moon. I think I'll send those doctor bills airmail special to Whitey on the moon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Moral, and everyone who went already. Next up is Nick Collins.
All right. Hopefully that should be good. All right. Hello. One more, all right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. It is always a joy when you come. Ah, beautiful. My favorite. Thank you so much. What a great way to start the new year for me. Can we welcome our next performer to the stage, please? Alabaster Lovejoy.
Woohoo! Wah, 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 wah. Wee! Wow! Wee! Oh. What? Huh? Yeah. No. No. Yeah. Right. Good. What? Nah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop. Yeah. Ah. Cool. Yeah. Right. Sure. Ooh. That. Yes. Yes. Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Ooh. Ooh. Huh? No. No. Wow. Huh? No. Yeah. Sure. Yes. Choice. Yes. Right. Punk. God. Duh. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Who? No. When? No. But, well, yeah. Cool. Right. Wait. Now. Oh, yeah. That's right. Uh-huh. Say what? Hey, look. I'm a robot. Are you crazy? Where's my phone? Everyone is so beautiful in their own unique way. The hippies were right. Uh-oh. I forgot to clean up my mess. I'm sorry. I forgot to get married. Oh well. I forgot my password. I'm sorry. I forgot to fight for my country. Thank God! I forgot what I'm doing. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. I'm getting a headache. Joking! I'm really upset now. Joking. I'm gonna make a lot of money. And I don't care what I gotta do to make it. Joking. Oh yeah. Everything seems so hopeless. Yeah. Joking. I quit. Joking not. You see, I'm not always joking. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alabaster, or should I call you Mr. Lovejoy? We have some real jesters with us tonight, which is so exciting. I mean, there's a reason that we have the saying, send in the clowns, you know? The clowns are meant to go in when everything's going wrong. Yeah. And in the theatrical and dramaturgical tradition, especially the Shakespearean tradition, it is the fool's role to speak truth to power. So I am so happy to have so many jesters with us tonight. What a joy and an honor. When I call myself a clown, it is not a metaphor, and I'm happy to be among you all. Please help me welcome our next performer, perhaps our last, unless anyone is feeling brazen and would like to join us. You're welcome to. And co-host, Robyn.
Hello again, everyone. I love just gripping onto this. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to set that tone. I have a few poems, as always. I have been writing like a dog. Me and my friend are doing this thing where we send each other a poem every morning, and it's been making me write a lot. And here are some of the ones I've written in the new year. This one is called Colors of the End. I don't know if I want to keep this title yet, but it's what's there now. I spend time picking out the colors of words. Daffodil is yellow, lilac is pink. Umbrella is blue, tea is brown, eyes are brown, hair is brown, mud is brown, earth is blue. Every moment is my denouement. Every moment is an appeal, a slaughter, a piece of hair clinging to something right before the wind picks up. I sit in a cardboard box and pick lint off my socks. I chew, lining my mouth and tongue with cuts, and it burns to talk, so I write. I pick out the colors of words. Daffodil is yellow, lilac is pink, windshield is black, hope is purple, love is red, Stephanie is red, Joey is red, bumper is red, road is red, trees are red, earth is blue. Thank you. And this next one is called Fine White Lines. I take a snapshot out of my window at different times of the year. It reminds me of the skeletal system and how we must shed a layer and endure the pain of raw exposed skin to feel the breath of growth once again. I look back on pictures of memories blurred, poisoned by consumption. I took the poisoned path. I carved it out with my soft, delicate fingers and held the earth in my palms. I prayed for release. I prayed to blue eyes and Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I read words in the facade of the mountains in Utah. I never understood why I poisoned myself, why I licked the lips of my undertaker, why I sat there and listened as he poured more down my mouth, staining my orange knit dress. Sometimes it's just like that, letting the summer fade into fall and leaving the baggage of the heat there with it. Too much is said in the heat, too much is thought, not enough is ever done. I pray for a snowstorm so great that I can't even open my door. I pray to be locked inside like a dog, like a fucking dog. I sing hymns to myself, sing them in the wrong language, sing the wrong translation. I do everything wrong except I set my intention on the fine white lines of the freeway, on following them, keeping track of my distance, how to get back, but staying on path, keeping on course, making sure I see the ditch in my periphery. Thank you. Okay, this next one is called Sensational. In the distance, there is a child prancing along concrete road. I hear your maybe in my ears, trying to focus when mind is flooded with perpetual anxiety. But it's not my mind, it's my heart. My heart flutters and makes me break away from the stillness around me. I would have winter forever if I could. I would bathe in it, in icy waters, making my heart flutter, skip a beat or two, make me feel, love the awareness, love the feeling of warmth that washes over me when I lift out into the still air again. Life is like a lapdog. Well, it can't be. Life is also like an inchworm buried deep under the soil in warm deposits, waiting for the call of spring to lull him out of hibernation. Life is like closed eyes, like an empty calendar, like a wisp of curly blonde hair floating in the wind. Sometimes there's nothing, sometimes maybe is the only answer. Did you ever believe that a touch could be a feeling, that that a kiss could be impure, that the way my eyes see you could never mean more? Have you ever held a maybe in your arms? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, this may be my last one. I have another one. I wasn't going to read it because I thought my friend was going to come, and it's about her, and I didn't want her to hear it. But she's not here, so maybe I will. This one's called Self-Effacing. Feet pound on snow behind me, you linger like a stray hair attached to my clothes. Big green eyes and large body like a strawberry. Man asks me where Walmart is. I say drive to the prison and keep going. I read a dictionary and hope I become smarter. I search through a vault of my memories and hope I become smarter. A rumbling in my abdomen, a cinematic compromise. When he opens his mouth, all that comes out is the sound of a truck going in reverse. I scrape the floor with my knees as I looked up to you and beg for those eyes to say yes. A cut on the crease of my lip, yet I would still kiss you. Man with beanie, man with beard and baby, man with bushy brows, man with big basket full of bottles. Woman with red dress. I spill hot tea all over my body. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna read it. Whatever. I actually forgot that I wrote this literally this morning, but I did. It's called Purr. Purr. You're the only person I can bear to watch movies like that with. We're like, you just get it, because there's no other way to put it. I have a stack of unread books so high they may begin to reach my torso. I see them all as tiny particles that build the making of me. Outside, you are so high, I look up and can't see you. I think of her in a dingy roadway inn at 10 in the morning, and there's some lady asking her for an epidural pen, and she just laughs. She's so unaffected. She just laughs and tells me she's waiting for him to leave. I slide on my running shoes. As my head vibrates, I stand up. I almost threw up a few minutes ago just sitting in my chair, but now I'm on the streets, narrowly avoiding black ice and running, beating that pain with the cold January wind, the rush of air before a snowstorm. It all hits me, and I smile, and I smile. I make it to the end and keep going. We eat ice cream sundaes and grapes. You tell me about how certain people drain your social battery, but not me. I don't tell you this, but I think back to nights when I'd be sitting with him in a room and we just stare at the wall for hours, sipping 12% beer and not even bearing to look at each other or say a thing because to come up with a thought in itself was too much energy. His presence drained me like a leaky tub, and I don't think I've ever felt that way since. But when I think back to it, I can't even remember when he left. Thank you. I don't know if there's anybody else. Does anyone else want to take a gander at the stage? Take a gander? It doesn't even make sense. But that's the whole point, right? Yeah.
Nobody else? We got no one else wants to jump in? It's okay. We've had a lovely evening, I think. I would like to leave you with a short quote by Angela Davis.
You go. I'm gonna just say my goodbyes then,
Bye,
and
Robyn.
let you take the stage. But I just wanted to thank everyone for coming. You all were so wonderful, and I love how even though we started off the night on a kind of like solemn note, there was so much positivity here, and that's why I love doing this. And you all are so beautiful and just gorgeous. So thank you.
Thanks, Robyn. It's such a joy to be here. So let's just ruminate on this, I guess, while we go. Angela Davis once said, "You have to act as if it were possible to radically transform the world, and you have to do it all the time," which is something I think we try to do here. So thanks for doing that with us, and hopefully we'll see you next time on the 30th. Woo!